It was so hot you could fry an egg on the sidewalk. Yet, my boss sent a chilling
Why
text.
aren't you at work?
I ignored it. Then, the company group chat exploded.
1 second late. Pay dot to 0.
That message snapped me back to reality. I stared blankly around me. Where am I? I was sitting on a bus, heading to work. But my skin still burned from the scalding heat of my death. I've been reborn. I got off the bus just in time. I didn't come to kiss my boss's ass before the apocalypse, nor for the measly paycheck. In my last life, I found a bunker under the company basement. It connected to an isolated building in the park. After the world ended, I stumbled into that converted cold storage warehouse. Tragically, I told my boss about it. He praised me to my face, then immediately turned on me. He had his goons throw me out. I died of severe dehydration. I don't have time to prep anywhere else. I have to claim that bunker first. The AC hadn't kicked in yet. The office felt like a sauna. Everyone was fanning themselves with folders. My coworker Ling Chun complained.
It rained for 2 months straight. Now it's sunny, and it's already 107 degrees. Is the world ending?
A few nodded in agreement, but someone scoffed.
World ending, read too many novels. I've heard of ice ages, but a heat apocalypse. It's just a heat wave. As long as there's power, we have AC.
They all laughed, except me, because I knew in 12 hours they'll realize in horror that the sun won't set. The temperature will soar past 140 degrees. Under that relentless sun, traffic will paralyze and supplies will run dry. Just 30 minutes outside will kill you from dehydration. My thoughts were interrupted by the boss's fake cough. He glared at the empty desks.
5 minutes late, and they aren't here. Tell them to go to HR and sign their penalty slips.
I sneered in disgust. I was about to quit on the spot. He wiped his sweat.
What's wrong with AC? Why isn't it cold? Where's admin? Go ask building management.
The HR rep piped up.
Chen took a sick day. Heat stroke.
A sick day for heat stroke. What do I even pay you people for?
He spotted me and pointed.
John, you, go talk to management.
I swallowed my resignation for now, grabbed 2 water bottles, and headed straight for the management office. A group of tenants just stormed out, cursing loudly. The manager, Old Chun, smiled bitterly at me.
It was scorching outside.
I handed him a water bottle. I know about the ASC. I'm actually here for a more urgent favor. Old Chun looked surprised. What is it? That old cold storage building, ...
Is it still empty? You mean building 12?
He flipped through a logbook. Yeah, it's empty. Why? Interested? I lied. A friend needs a warehouse. Can you show me around? He agreed immediately. We braved the blistering sun to reach the isolated building. It had 2 floors, offices upstairs, a massive open layout downstairs, and the ground floor led straight to the basement. The warehouse, the moment we stepped inside, a chill hit us. It was over 100 degrees outside, but maybe 50 degrees down here. I touched the walls. Just as I thought, heavy thermal insulation. Perfect. There were also several massive commercial freezers, probably left behind by the previous tenant. A massive heavy-duty security door separated the warehouse from the basement. Once locked, even C4 couldn't blow it open. This was absolutely ideal. I almost screamed in excitement. I nodded to Old Chun. It's perfect. My friend will take it. And I can definitely use those leftover freezers. I contacted the owner and bought the freezers for dirt cheap. Old Chun was thrilled by how fast I closed the deal. He'd probably scored a fat commission.
Need anything else?
I thought about the upstairs layout. Last time, I broke a window and climbed in. I can't fully fortify every door and window right now, but if I weld steel bars over the windows and board them up, I can prevent what happened last time. So I asked him if he knew anyone who installs security bars. I had some urgent welding to do. He scratched his head.
I don't know any welders.
I frowned. This was bad. Then he casually dropped a bomb.
But I used to make security grillies back home. If you don't mind it looking a bit ugly.
I struck gold. I transferred him $1,500 on the spot. Buy the welding gear. Seal every door and window in this building. It's urgent. Take the rest of the day off. Get it done today. And one more thing, ... Keep this totally quiet. I'll give you another $800 when it's done. Seeing the cash, he swore absolute secrecy. With that handled, a massive weight lifted off my chest. As soon as I walked back in, my boss was screaming.
You? I sent you to management. Where have you been? You disappeared. And the AC still isn't fixed.
The ask was blowing slightly cool air, but it couldn't fight the surging heat. He looked like a greasy, roasted pig. He slammed his desk, furious. I clenched my fists. I fired back. The AC isn't my problem. Stop yelling at me. He froze, stunned. Then he exploded.
Get the hell out.
Exactly what I wanted. I spun around and marched out. At the door, I ran into Ling Chun. He looked at me weirdly. He suddenly whispered,
I saw you and old Chen go to the old cold storage. What were you doing there?
My alarm bells rang. I muttered a lame excuse and practically ran away. I had to start hoarding immediately. 150-pound bags of rice, 520-liter jugs of These are the absolute basics. They won't spoil in a cold warehouse for years. I have no idea how long the heat wave will last. Even if I end up eating plain rice and pickles, I'll survive. To avoid suspicion, I split my purchases across several huge supermarkets. As for cooking, I already had a plan. It's so hot outside. The world is a giant oven. I just need to modify a second-floor window. Set the food out there to cook. Time it right and pull it back in. The biggest risk of hiding out is getting sick. I hit several pharmacies, bought bulk standard meds, but mostly focused on vitamins. By the time I finished prepping, it was 2 p.m. The sun was brutal. The temp hit 136 degrees. I bought some weapons too. 2 baseball bats, some blades, and I secretly bought a high-voltage stun baton. I shoved it all into my backpack, put on my sunglasses, and headed back to the park. I wonder how old Chon's welding is going. 10 p.m., 6 hours until the apocalypse. The heat was unbearable. The air shimmering off the pavement. The streets were completely deserted. Exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to run into anyone from work. I'd have a hard time explaining this. I took a back route to my rented building. From afar, I saw the windows were totally sealed. Perfect. Everything was going smoothly. But as I sped up, a voice called out, "You!" I whipped around. It was Ling Chun. "What are you doing here in this heat?" I asked, trying to hide my panic.
Waiting for you.
That made me even more nervous. I was scrambling for an excuse when he grabbed my arm.
I know everything. The apocalypse is coming. You're prepping, right?
I stared at him, then it clicked. He nodded, a pained expression crossed his face.
When you went out looking for a shelter. Some of us went to the park's convenience store. It was almost empty. The owner panicked, locked the doors, and refused to sell. A riot broke out. I was trampled to death.
We stood in silence for a long time before snapping back to reality. He said he wanted to join me. My heart skipped a beat. I instinctively tightened my grip on my backpack. He wasn't a bad guy, and he knew the truth. I had enough supplies for both of us. But in the apocalypse, trust gets you killed. Seeing my hesitation, he thought I was worried about my food.
Don't worry. I have my own food and water. Enough to last a while. I just need a safe place.
How did you know I had one?
You said you were looking. Then I saw you and old Chen go to the old building. I knew you found it.
I took a deep breath, still conflicted.
Also, I brought some things we might need.
Like what? He managed to score a generator and several barrels of diesel. I smiled bitterly. I hadn't prepped any electronics. I was too scared they'd blow up in the heat. Then his expression turned dead serious.
We need to surveil our perimeter.
He pointed at my building.
I know you sealed it up, but that means we're blind to the outside. People will do insane things to survive. I'm going to install hidden cameras around the exterior. We need early warning. I work in IT. I can handle it.
He made a solid point. I hadn't thought of that. Having him on board could actually be a huge asset. I had one last question. If people try to break in, what will you do?
Protect myself. Protect us.
He didn't hesitate. It sounds cruel, but that's how we survive. I was satisfied. I patted his shoulder. Let's move fast then. We're almost out of time. 4 hours left. Ling Chun and I finished the final preps. Every window was sealed except for one on the second floor, with a custom steel shelf for cooking. I paid old Chun the rest of the cash, thanked him for his hard work, and told him to hurry home and rest. He was so grateful. I felt a pang of guilt, but logic told me I couldn't save everyone. I just warned him about the extreme heat, told him to stay indoors, and stockpile as much food as possible. That was the absolute limit of my kindness. The rest was up to fate. Once he left, Ling Chun and I reinforced the front door from the inside. With heavy timber, human strength alone could never break in. We were safe. Ling Chun installed 8 cameras around the exterior and more at the basement entrance and front gate. With the generator running for just an hour a day, we'd have power for at least 6 months. We dragged 2 old couches from the office to use as beds. We were drenched in sweat, but the cool 60-degree basement. Ling Chun's jaw dropped when he saw my massive stockpile. He couldn't believe it. Then he sheepishly asked,
"You? If my food runs out, can I buy some from you?"
I laughed. "Bye. You can't afford it." I collapsed on the sofa and tossed him a Coke. "We're in this together now." We're going to survive. He smiled goofily, then nodded with fiery determination. Just as we finally relaxed, our phones blasted an emergency alert.
Due to extreme heat, multiple vehicles have suffered tire blowouts, causing severe gridlock across the city. Citizens are strongly advised to remain indoors to avoid fatal accidents.
I bolted upright and checked the time. It was only 6 p.m. The apocalypse arrived early. At 9 p.m., the scorching sun still hung in the sky. People finally realized something was horribly wrong. Cars were exploding on the road. Tires melted. Traffic totally collapsed. But many still didn't grasp the true scale of the danger. Ling Chun showed me his phone. In the company group chat, dozens of coworkers who tried to leave were forced to turn back to the office. Even the boss's tires blew out just down the street. That night, lying in our cool basement, I pulled up 2 blankets. While millions suffered in the suffocating heat, we slept soundly. After a night without a sunset, the entire city was paralyzed. The news begged people to stay inside. And worst of all, rolling blackouts began. Our industrial park only got 1 hour of power in the morning and 1 hour at night. People desperately fled to underground garages to escape the heat. There was nothing to do but wait. Panic set in. Coworkers trapped in the office tried to walk home, but most ran back inside within 5 minutes. Out on the streets, people were collapsing. No ambulances came. No one dared go out to help them. Once you fell, you had 10 minutes max. Then, death by dehydration. No one expected a heat apocalypse. Just 1 day in, terror consumed everyone. Day 3. The parking garages were still survivable, but starvation was becoming a critical issue. Then, Ling Chun heard the news. The park's convenience store had been looted. The exact event that killed him in his past life just played out again. The only difference was this time he survived. Remembering his past death, he looked deeply shaken. I told him to stay focused. It wasn't just our park. The entire city had descended into absolute chaos. Day 5, the power grid completely failed. The news announced that remaining power would be diverted exclusively to hospitals and critical infrastructure. The government broadcasted a final warning. Going outside is now lethal. Between the heat and the violence, extreme violence erupted across the city. Through the cameras, we saw more and more bodies littering the park roads, whether they were people who risked fleeing or the weak kicked out to save rations. I didn't know. Even though Ling Chun and I were safe, seeing this still weighed heavily on us. Just as we were feeling grim, a sudden noise outside the warehouse broke the silence. Ling Chun immediately checked the feeds. Someone else remembered the cold storage company, and they spotted the heavy security door. A group of guys were studying some blueprints they found.
This connects to a warehouse. Wonder if there's anything left inside.
Ling Chun looked at me, panicked. I was terrified too, but I reassured him the was impenetrable. We glued our eyes to the screen. They messed with the door for a while, then they started smashing it. With sledgehammers and crowbars, asterisk, bang, bang. The terrifying heavy echoes filled the basement. My heart slammed against my ribs with every strike. But thankfully, after 10 minutes of frantic smashing, they were drenched in sweat, and the door didn't have a single dent.
You really picked a fortress.
Ling Chun whispered. I smiled, though I was still shaking. Just as I thought we were safe, one of them pulled out a chainsaw. Our hearts jumped into our throats. We stared at the monitor, barely breathing. I gripped my baseball bat tight. Icy, they breached the door. There would be no talking. We'd have to fight to the death. Luckily, probably due to low voltage, the saw kept stalling. After a few tries, they cursed and finally left. We exhaled deeply. Day 7. The water supply finally stopped. The water pressure had been dropping, but there was still running water. Until now, the biggest battleground was the bathroom. Survivors formed factions, fiercely guarding the taps. But today, not a single drop came out. Pure despair washed over the groups. Now, the only way to survive was to steal. The garage became a war zone again. Those with food ruled the food chain. The weak starved, got thrown out into the sun. Or worse, suddenly the park group chat blew up.
Trading a 24-year-old beauty for a bottle of water.
We stared in shock. It was posted by our old boss. I had completely forgotten about him. Revenge feels trivial during the apocalypse. I couldn't believe he was still alive. The photo attached was of Shunjing from HR. Completely naked. Everyone knew she was his mistress. She probably never imagined he'd betray her like
Dream
this.
on. Do you know what a bottle of water is worth?
The boss replied.
Who knows how long we'll live? We're all dying anyway. Fine, I'll throw into more.
He sent 2 more pictures. 2 other young girls from our company. They just followed him for safety. In the background of the photos, I saw other co-workers. They just watched coldly as the girls were sold off. Just like they watched me get thrown out of the warehouse. Those animals. I punched the sofa. Then I noticed Ling typing furiously on his phone. Before I could stop him, he sent a barrage of messages in the group chat, cursing the boss out. He saw my furious glare and froze.
Sorry, I lost my temper.
I shook my head. I knew he was close with one of those girls. Honestly, the fact he hadn't begged me to let her in yet was impressive restraint. But his outburst just exposed us. The boss didn't reply in the group chat. Instead, he DM'd Ling Chun instantly.
Chen, you're still in the park. Where are you?
When people go missing now, they're presumed dead. But Ling Chun just proved he was alive, which meant he found a safe house. When Ling Chun ignored the text, the boss started calling him repeatedly. Ling Chun looked at me guiltily and let it ring. The boss spammed him with voice notes, asking if he had a shelter. If he had food, he played the We're a family card. If you have supplies, you have to share. He promised Ling Chun promotions, raises, even half the company's shares once the disaster ended. Hearing his voice made us both sick to our stomachs. Apologized again.
I won't be impulsive again.
It's fine, I said. He doesn't know where we are. Right after I said that, the boss posted in the main group chat.
There's another shelter in the park with supplies. Split up and search every building. Don't miss a single one.
Day 10 of the apocalypse. Every second is filled with unknown danger. Ling Chun and I hide in the cold storage. The heavy security door is our only barrier against the world. At night, the warehouse is dead silent. Only the sound of our breathing. An unspeakable tension hangs in the air. I hear Ling Chun's breathing grow erratic. In the apocalypse, everyone is fighting a bloody battle to survive. Our only refuge is this warehouse. Suddenly, a familiar face flashes on the monitor. It's the boss. He's leading a group of goons straight towards the warehouse. Their eyes burn with desperate hunger like they're hunting. Watching them inch closer, Ling Chun panics. He whispers,
Do they know we're in here?
I shake my head, but I already know the answer. In the apocalypse, human greed and selfishness are magnified infinitely. Maybe our earlier actions exposed us. Maybe a careless mistake led them right to us. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. I know they're coming for blood. But we still have one last trump card. This massive steel door. If we stay vigilant and stay quiet, we might just survive until rescue arrives. We stare tensely at the screen. The boss's crew gets closer and closer. Suddenly, they stop. They start searching the perimeter. The silence outside is terrifying.
Did they spot us?
Ling Chun's voice trembles slightly. He senses it too. I don't know. Maybe not yet. I try to stay cool, but the dread is overwhelming. They're inching toward the warehouse entrance, like they've made a sinister decision. Then, faint footsteps echo from right outside our door, low, methodical, and stealthy. We held our breath, eyes glued to the monitor, terrified of missing a single detail. My heart pounded in my ears. It felt like the whole world had gone dead silent. The figure made no sound, just silently advanced through the darkness. We finally saw him. He wore a mask, revealing only sharp, chilling eyes. It sent a shiver down my spine. Who is that? I whispered, panic rising. Ling Chun looked horrified. He grabbed my hand tight. We could practically feel each other's heartbeats. Time seemed to freeze. The air inside the warehouse felt heavy. And then, the warehouse lights suddenly cut out. Total darkness. My mind went completely blank. In the pitch black, the only sound was our own rapid breathing echoing off the walls.
You.
Ling Chun's voice cracked.
What do we do?
I forced myself to stay calm. Don't panic, stay quiet. They might not know we're in here yet. This darkness is a risk, but it's also cover. Just then, chaos erupted outside. Shouting, a violent struggle, and then a blood-curdling scream. The scream pierced the darkness, sending a jolt of pure terror. We locked eyes, both seeing our own fear. Reflected back, we had no idea what was happening. We just huddled together, waiting for the worst. Every second crawled by. Gradually, the noise outside faded, leaving only dead silence. One immediately checked the monitor. The screen was black. They smashed the cameras. I had no choice. I removed a wooden plank, crept to the door, and peered through the crack. The boss and his goons were dead on the ground, and the man stood over them, gripping a bloody dagger. He was staring right at us. I gasped and stumbled back. Ling Chun saw it too. His face drained of color. He started shaking uncontrollably. The man in black heard us moving. He spoke through the gap. His voice was deep and icy.
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. I just want some supplies.
I was confused, but stayed on guard. Who are you? Why are you here? He didn't answer my question. He just said,
I know you're hoarding a lot of stuff in there. I just need a little. Not much.
It didn't seem like a psycho killer. But in the apocalypse, you can't trust anyone. I wasn't about to buy his story. Suddenly, Ling Chun spoke up.
Are you reborn too?
The man in black flinched visibly. He looked up, surprise flashing in his eyes.
How did you know?
Chun took a deep breath.
You and I are also reborn.
The man fell silent. Then he slowly pulled down his mask, revealing a familiar face. He worked in our office building. Lunan, I was shocked. Never expected to see him here. Seeing our faces, Lunan smiled bitterly.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Since I came back, I've been looking for a safe place. I finally found this spot today.
I was still suspicious, but he didn't was lying. So I asked, then why the mask? Lunan sighed.
In the apocalypse, you have to be careful.
I nodded. My guard dropped. Just a bit. He looked at us and continued.
I was hoping you could spare some supplies.
Just enough to tide me over. That's all. I paused. Then I replied, we can share some supplies, but you have to stay here. With us, 3 people watching each other's backs. Better chance of survival. Lunan's eyes lit up with surprise and relief. He quickly agreed.
I'll stay. We'll work together.
We lived in the warehouse together, supporting each other. As time passed, we gradually adapted to the apocalypse. We even started exploring the outside world, scavenging for resources and looking for a way out. The apocalypse is brutal, but as long as we don't give up, we'll definitely find hope to survive. On one supply run, the 3 of us were carefully navigating an abandoned street. The buildings around us were crumbling ruins. Suddenly, Ling Chun pointed ahead. His voice shook.
Look, what is that?
A massive, mutated monkey crouched on a collapsed wall. Eyes burned with an eerie red light. Lunan's face went pale. He hissed.
Careful. It's mutated from radiation. It's highly dangerous.
We tried to quietly back away, but the monkey spotted us instantly. It launched, tilted at us. I swiftly drew my stun baton and readied their weapons. The monkey was on us in a flash. It leaped high, slashing its razor claws at Lunan. Lunan dodged backward. The monkey missed, gouging deep gouges into the pavement. I saw an opening. I swung the stun baton with everything I had, smashing it right into the monkey's back. A heavy thud echoed. The monkey shrieked in agony. It charging at us even more fiercely. Ling Chun noticed. Its underbelly was exposed. He lunged forward and buried his dagger deep into its stomach. Blood sprayed everywhere. The monkey writhed in pain, severely weakened. It stumbled, then turned and fled into the ruins. We stood there, panting heavily, drenched in sweat, staring at the spot where the beast vanished. Terrified, but glad to be alive. Day 15. The temperature finally seemed to drop a bit. We decided to leave the warehouse to search for more supplies and a better living space. Packing our gear, we cautiously stepped outside and left the industrial park. The world outside was completely unrecognizable. Ruins and corpses were everywhere. But we also met other survivors. They were fighting to survive too. We quickly teamed up, deciding to build a new home and slash the apocalypse together. Day 20. We finally found a relatively safe spot, an abandoned factory. We decided to establish our new settlement there. We cleared the debris and built shelters, working hard to make our new home better every day. The future is still full of unknowns and dangers, but we aren't afraid anymore. As long as we stand united, we can overcome anything.